So Kubernetes, I believe, is one of the most difficult topics that I've encountered in like last 1 year or so. I mean, ML is one other which is coming up. So the thing is, because if you look at this Kubernetes or CNCF landscape, they have a lot and lot of tools. And if you look at the interview point of view, some of them, I don't know why, they expect you to learn all these things, which is not possible from the human point of view. So that is one reason this has become really complicated. And if you do not have a practical experience on some of these tools, I'm not expecting, or no one is expecting to know all of these tools. And if you have attended the last week Victor session, I mean, that guy is a master on these. So it's really, I mean, if you do not have like, sorry, let me step back. And if you do not have the practical experience in Kubernetes, I will refrain to add it as a part of my resume. So just a little information, and let's get started with the today's session. So first question is, I mean, we will start with something really basic. And what do you guys think about Kubernetes? What exactly is Kubernetes is?
Kubernetes is a container orchestration mechanism, or I would say container orchestration technology, which basically is responsible that how containers are managed when they are working at a cluster level. So I think when the terms of Docker, I think what Docker does is it is managing one single container per node, and Kubernetes is responsible for having multiple containers on different nodes, and it is responsible to manage all those containers on multiple nodes at a cluster level.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct, Kamal. So let me get started. What Kamal has said, and I think it's Mohit who mentioned in the chat also. It's a container orchestrator. So what do I mean by that? Okay. So like in our last session, we learned about Docker, right? And the way we are spinning a container, I mean, it's applied to everything, not only Docker. I mean, Kubernetes support container ID, Rocket, all those other container orchestration system. But let's just focus on Docker. And last time we are running a container like this, right? We are just using a Docker run command, providing him some input, and we are spinning up the containers on the backend, right? Now, the problem with this approach is like, that is fine, absolutely fine. I can run this command in loops and try to create 10 more containers, or I can run this command manually and run those containers. The main thing is who is going to manage those containers, right? So with manage means if one of these container goes down, who is responsible for bringing up that container back? Okay. The other way to think about it, like, uh, let's say I spin up one container of Nginx, right? Now I want to scale it to 1 to 100. So how can I scale it to 100 containers? In Docker, we see that we need to run that Docker container command and all those things, right? Docker run command. But Kubernetes, which we are going to see it now, is like how Kubernetes will be able to help us to scale from 1 to 100. Okay. Not only that, like I mentioned, if any of this container down out of this 100, like let's say we spun up this 100 container, if any one of these container down, we need some mechanism who is constantly monitoring those container. And if that container system goes down, or if this container goes down, it will bring it up. Okay. So scaling, monitoring, spinning up those container, that is one of the work of the container orchestration system. And that is where this Kubernetes shine. If you look at the Docker ecosystem, they have something called Docker Swarm, which I haven't used it much, but its use case is pretty simple. It's not as complex as like Kubernetes, but Kubernetes provide a lot of functionality. And what are those functionality? We are going to see it in next 8 questions. So as a high level, if you think of this container orchestrator, Just think of it's responsible for creating your container. In case if it need to do the scaling, it will do the scaling, and it will also perform the monitoring part. This is a little bit of a oversimplified definition. Container orchestrator do a lot and lot of other things, and that's what we are going to see.